This video covers restrictions on the transfer of shares. Under the New Zealand Companies Act, there's no restriction on the ability of a shareholder to sell their shares at any time to anyone for any price. This is not something that most companies and shareholders are comfortable with, and they want some restrictions on the ability of shareholders to sell their shares. This is for a lot of reasons, but most commonly to preserve company culture and values, to give the company some stability so that the shareholding is not constantly changing. But also, from a shareholder's perspective, it's more personal. It's because you go into business with people because you value their expertise, their personality, you get along well with them, perhaps their finances, if they contribute money, and you want to have control over who you're in business with. So where do these restrictions go if they're not at law? They go either in the company's constitution or in the shareholders agreement. Sometimes it's both. We recommend it's in the shareholders agreement. So this is usually dealt with by having a blanket statement that says no shareholder can transfer or sell, their words are used interchangeably, sell their shares at any time unless in one of these limited circumstances. And those are things like if there's a failure to comply with the shareholders agreement or some other event which triggers a compulsory sale, a related party transfer, so that's a change of trustees of a trust, or a transfer from a shareholder to a company that they've set up. Also under the drag and tag-along rights, which we've covered in other videos. And lastly, the one that was a little bit more contentious is if preemptive rights apply. So that's where a shareholder who wants to sell has first offered their shares to the other shareholders to purchase pro rata to their existing shareholding. Preemptive rights provisions can get quite complicated, but they generally follow a similar process in that a selling shareholder must first offer their shares to the other shareholders, and there's a time frame within which those other shareholders can say yes or no, I want them, I don't want them. And then if there's any excess shares left over that haven't been allocated, the process often continues until they're mopped up by the shareholders that do want them. If no one wants them, the selling shareholder can sell to an outside party, an outside buyer, but the price can't be any lower than what they've offered to the existing shareholders. And that price, which is often the contentious part, in our shareholders agreement is able to be set by an independent accountant at fair value, which is an accounting valuation term, but it could also be a fixed price if that's what the shareholders agree, or based on a formula.